everybody, thanks for coming back or checking out for the first time Writer's Underworld with myself, Richard Rose. Today I'm going to throw shade because I'm in kind of a nihilistic mood dealing with personal issues. So I'll talk about something that can spread my misery to the rest of the world and make me feel better at the same time. The topic of today's video is why do writers quit? And I want to convey that as long as I've been writing, I've heard over 100 people say, I'm going to write a book. And how many of them wrote books? A few, you know? Everybody loves to get all excited and tell the whole world they're going to write a book. And that's kind of insulting to people who do write books. That's like, all right, this is something I heard in the beginning. It's not my own thought, but in the beginning I heard this. Somebody in one of the books I was reading, I used to read books about how to be a writer, and they said it's like, well, someone saying they're going to be a writer is like you going out and saying, I'm going to do rocket science, or I'm going to be a brain surgeon. You know, you can't just decide that you're going to do an extremely difficult thing. I mean, I've quit things in my life. People quit things. That's normal and understandable. But there's a difference, you know. What's happening is that people are washing out. Truck drivers like myself, 9 out of 10 fail within the first year. They don't fail because it's easy, they fail because it's difficult. Writers quit writing because 1, they are not writers, and 2, writing is difficult. And they think they're just gonna do a difficult thing. I've quit lots of stuff. The last thing I kind of quit was bonsai. I was gonna grow little trees in little pots and be a very successful little tree and little pots grower. But it turns out it's very difficult. So I just kind of gave up, you know, because it didn't line up with my lifestyle. If I could sit on top of these trees all the time and I had nothing else going on in the world, I could probably pull it off, maybe, but it'd still be very difficult. And if it doesn't fit in with your lifestyle, then you're not going to be able to pull it off. That was the other video I was going to do, is kind of about the lifestyle. But let's talk more about why these people are washing out. You know, they think, well, they probably wrote some good papers in school, and they were like, well, I wrote some good papers in school, I'm going to go write a novel. And they get a little bit into it, and then just, they can't do it. And you know, it sucks. I kind of get sad how many times I've heard it when people do it, because every time I hear someone say, I'm going to write a novel, I think, no, you're not. Sometimes they do. You know who's really good at writing novels is heroin addicts who used to do heroin, and then they're going to write a book about their heroin usage. They actually do finish those books. You know why? I think because they have a lot of stuff to put in there. And they're probably, in all fairness, pretty interesting books. I think heroin addict books about heroin should be its own genre. There's probably, if you're into that kind of book, there's probably 1,000 of them that are excellent, or maybe 10,000, maybe 100,000. Who knows? I'm pretty sure that every recovering heroin addict writes a book about it. And you know, that's a mulligan. Most people, they don't have enough stuff to fill up a book. That's why we write stories, you know, because if I was just writing about my life, I'm gonna run out of stuff to talk about. Your life is limited. You gotta fill up all these pages, you know, and you probably could, a lot of people do. I can't imagine taking myself that seriously, that I thought everyone would want to hear every detail of my existence. But a lot of the big time writers, this is getting into how, you know, all the world is a stage and you really can't believe anything you see or hear. But a lot of these big time writers have really interesting stories about their lives. James Michener was, a war correspondent, and he was in like 3 plane crashes or something. And Michael Crichton was, just an absolute genius, and he saw all the ins and outs of the world, and as I mentioned in a different video, it seems like all the lady writers, the best and most successful lady writers, all have tragic stories. Like I mentioned, Anne Rice and Taylor Caldwell and Ayn Rand, but another one, Sylvia Plath. What'd she do? Put her head in the oven. And then there was that other lady. I didn't read her book, so I can't remember her name, but she walked into that river, with rocks in her pockets. So people have interesting lives, and they become writers for that reason, and they write about themselves all the time. But I'm getting off topic. The topic is, why do writers quit? They're not writers, and it's difficult. It's a very simple thing, but we're doing YouTube here, and gosh, I don't know. I just think it's kind of insulting to all the people that do go finish novels, and I am always happy when I find out that there's new novelists emerging in my sphere. And I like to see what they're doing, and I like when what they're doing is really good. I've personally known only a couple really good writers. And, but I mean, that's more than I would have expected. I would have expected to know 0. And I've also personally known probably another dozen who said they were going to do it and then failed and gave up. But there's nothing wrong with that. It's just, I think it's kind of insulting that, all these people are saying, I'm going to write a book. And then they're like, how hard can it be? And that's the insult, where they're like, it's going to be no problem. It is going to be a problem, but we don't hear about it. They don't ever come back and be like, I failed writing a book because it's difficult. Wow, those people who can actually write books, they are so incredible. I admire them so much. They don't ever come back with that. They say it one time, and then you never hear nothing else about it. But I mean, I still mess around with bonsai trees a little bit, and I'm sure those people are out there still, writing a little bit. So I guess that's just the difference. But I mean, they just washed out, and it sucks for them, and it sucks for me. Nobody cares what I think, but I wish they would just keep it to themselves. I don't know. I used to tell people I was a writer when I hadn't written anything, really, because I knew I was going to do it, is the different thing, and then I did do it, and then I kept doing it, and it was who I was going to be. So I guess you just never know how things are going to go. Well, I mean, I know, but it seems like they don't know. Why do writers quit? It's difficult, and it's hard, and it's not a mystery, and it's, in retrospect, not a very good topic for a blog. Probably would have made a better short. Probably could have done it in about 15 seconds. Why do writers quit? It's difficult, and it's hard. So, but all right, so instead of making another video about why writers should not quit, maybe we can just tack it on to the end of this thing. And why you should not quit is just like, if it's difficult, it's not going to be easy, don't expect it to be easy. Just, keep plucking away at it a little bit at a time and make it a part of your life. Like with me with the bonsai trees, I never gave up on it. Not totally. It's still there in the background going on all the time. I'm not any kind of magnificent bonsai guy, but I do still do it. So, that's the thing that can, resolve the issue, is you don't need to be a novelist. Trust, it's not even worth it. I got nothing in return. Look at all these books I wrote. Nothing has ever come of it. It's been a big thumbs down my whole life. Probably my biggest regret in the world is creating these novels. As much as I love them, they're my favorite books. I wish I had quit. I wish I had. There's things that I did quit I should not have, and there's things I should have quit and I did not, and this is it. So why you should not quit? You should quit. Definitely quit. All those people who said they're going to do it and then quit, thumbs up, double thumbs up. You did really good. You used your brain. You sat down there, you tried it, you said it's difficult, and you gave up, and you're sensible people. You got to be totally senseless to keep going and going and going. You got to be a complete lunatic. I mean, you're wasting your whole life. You're throwing your life in the garbage, you know, for an art form. You only get to live once. You know, your soul might come back, but you're not coming back. You're gonna be gone. So, why writers quit? It's difficult. There was 2 reasons. They give up. Was that the second reason? It's difficult and no, I forgot the first half of this video. Anyways, why do writers quit? Because they're smart. That's it. They're not writers. Writers quit because it's difficult and they're not writers and they've got enough brains to realize these things and get out. There was a point when I was not a writer and it was difficult and I did not have any brains and I did not quit. If I had more brains, I would have quit. I could have been a different person. That's a topic for a different video. But we got to the bottom of the mystery. It was actually deeper than I thought. Why you should not quit? You should. Just do it. I should quit. I'm not gonna, but I should. All right, that's it. Thanks for checking out Writers Underworld. Deuces.